Unless you've been living under a rock, certainly in the UK for the last couple of days, you won't have failed to see this image. And it's a government advertising campaign. I'm not going to talk about the advertising campaign because I don't want to get into a political rant, but I have very strong views about the campaign. But I could probably be on for kind of a couple of hours talking about that. But what I actually want to talk about is the background to the use of this image. So for those people who are not familiar, government have run an advertising campaign. People have focused particularly on this. There was a series of images, but particularly on this image, and kind of raised a lot of consternation. Now, one of the elements of consternation is about the origin of the image and the use of the image. So I guess what happened is when this campaign became kind of widely seen, people have done a Google image search and found the original image and the creator, the photographer. So as it happens, the creator isn't based in the UK. The creator is a photographer called Chris Alex, who lives in the States, in Atlanta, I believe. And people did a Google image search and found her Instagram feed and the original image. So the original image actually features another dancer and is a wider shot. And I guess what happened is probably the photographer woke up, looked at her phone and thought, blimey, I've got a lot of notifications. And what was happening was people were going onto her Instagram account or Twitter or Facebook and saying to her, did you know your image had been used by the British government for this purpose? And her immediate response on Instagram, if you look at her Instagram feed, her immediate response was, no, I didn't give permission. When she said, no, I didn't give permission, there were lots of accusations, lots of people saying the image has been stolen, sue the government. I saw some really very high profile people on Twitter encouraging her to sue the government and sue the agency that views the image, and it's disgusting, it's image theft. It's not quite that simple. So I'm sure with the best intentions, the photographer uploaded the original photograph to Unsplash. Now Unsplash is a stock agency that when you upload your photographs, you have to agree to a license. And the license terms for Unsplash, I'm looking at them here, all photographs can be downloaded and used for free. So there's one point, you're giving your work away for free. The second point is photographs can be used for non-commercial and commercial purposes. And the third point is no permission is needed. So as soon as you upload a photograph onto Unsplash, not just Unsplash, there's other agency stock sites that do this. As soon as you upload a photograph under that license, what you are saying is anybody in the world can download it, do whatever they like with it. They don't have to ask my permission. And even if they're using it for commercial purposes, they don't have to pay me. Now, I'm sure the photographer, Chris, had a reason to upload her images to Unsplash. There were more than one of her images on Unsplash. But essentially, as soon as she pressed the button to upload those images and agreed to that license, you've lost control of the image. You now have no rights over your image because it's available for free. The license terms say it's available for free. The license terms say you can use it for commercial purposes. And the license terms say you don't have to ask my permission. So I appreciate that the photographer is now, and she's uploaded a YouTube video and she's spoken to the BBC and she said if she'd known that it was going to be used for this purpose, she wouldn't have allowed it. Unfortunately, by agreeing to that license, she doesn't have any rights to say you can't use my images for that purpose. She's now taken the image down off Unsplash. One of the interesting things about Unsplash as well is it says photos cannot be sold, but the caveat is without significant modification. So I can download any image from Unsplash, modify it significantly, there'd be an interpretation of what that is, but I could then sell that image, maybe in Christmas cards or calendars or whatever. I could be making money out of that image that I never created. I wasn't the photographer, but the original photographer doesn't get a single penny. Why would you give your work away in that way. If you were a baker, you wouldn't spend hours making a wedding cake or pies or loaves of bread and then just put them outside your shop and say to people, kind of have them for free. You would never do that. Why as creatives would we give our work away for free? So this isn't a criticism of Chris. It's an analysis of what actually happens in the business of photography if you're not careful about how you manage your creation. So I do occasionally give my work away for free. I sometimes give my work to charities, but when I give my work to charities, I always send them an invoice with the value of the image, but with a 100% discount. So say the image is £100, the invoice will say £100, but apply a £100 discount so they get it for free. But I also, in the invoice and the contract, agree the terms for what that image is to be used for. So if it's to be used in a calendar, I will say in my contract, for that purpose only. And unfortunately, what Unsplash do is they don't have any restrictions, so it's a free-for-all. So, again, I'm not having a go at the original photographer, because there's probably reasons why she's put images on Unsplash. But what I am saying is, be aware if you do that, this sort of thing can happen, and you've got no rights to complain and come back about that because you've agreed to those terms. It's almost you've probably heard the phrase "buyer beware," when in this case it's seller beware. Don't put your images anywhere where you're not comfortable that at some point it could be used for purposes that you don't want it to be used for. And that's the lesson to learn for this. So when you see the social media hype around stolen and sue and you're going to make money out of this because you'll be suing the British government, just look at the backstory and understand that it's not always as cut and dry as you might think. So hopefully they find that quite interesting. It's a bit more about the business of photography than I usually do, but kind of let me know if you found that kind of a good explanation, because I can do more about the business of photography if people are interested. Don't forget to subscribe, press the bell so you get notifications, and look forward to hearing your comments. Cheers, bye.